Afternoon. Today is day 16 of 28 Vegans. I wanted to do a small series every day for the month of February that highlighted some of my favorite vegans, people who have been influential on my journey, people who have brought something positive to this amazing trip that we've been on. It's been huge changes for my life, so today one of the things I've been really focusing on, and I feel as myself as a man, I need to encourage other men to come to this journey, come to this movement, and start their own journey. So today I wanted to have someone on, and today I'm very fortunate to have a guest on who is very busy and very far away. So today I'm going to have Dustin Watten on. Dustin is a member of Team USA men's volleyball, and man, I'm so encouraged when I see other men, and B, athletes that perform at such a high level coming to this vegan movement. So I'm excited to talk to Dustin. He just sent a request, so I will see if we can bring him in today. And I really appreciate his time and being part of this. So bear with me just a second. I'll bring Dustin in.
All right. Hopefully technology works today, because yesterday we had all kinds of problems. But what's going on, man?
What's up, my brother? How are we?
I'm doing quite well. So you're in Berlin. How long have you been in Berlin?
I've been in Berlin since October. I flew straight from Italy. I was with Team USA, so we were there for World Championships. And yeah, we have 2 seasons for volleyball. We really don't have any break. Summer's national time season, and then from fall to spring, it's for our professional teams. And so this is that 6 to 8 month block. And yeah, it's been really cool, especially being in Berlin, which is arguably the vegan capital of the world.
It's funny you say that. How do your other teammates respond when they know you're vegan, they see your results, your performance, they see what you're eating? Have any of them, joined you in this?
Yeah, it's actually been a really big surprise because when I went vegan, it was definitely for my personal health. Eventually, I came clear the ethical side of it too, but I really thought I was really nervous to share my journey because of the stereotype, the preachy vegan. But almost every year when I played overseas in France, Brazil, and Poland, there's been some teammate that's been interested and has gone vegan with me. This year it's been really interesting because going into the year, there was already a vegan I had known that was on the team. We brought up this young German player. He's without a doubt the biggest prospect in the German system right now. He's plant-based, and now one of my teammates, this French Polynesian, is incorporating juicing and smoothies every day. He's still not there yet, but he's just absolutely flying. He's feeling good. He tells me all the time, man, when I have this smoothie, when I have vegan protein powder, it just goes through me. It digests in my body. He's like, it feels great. And so it's been actually a big surprise for me, not only with my teammates, but on social media, because most of my presence is as a volleyball player. But if you look at my Snap stories, pretty much everything is food related. What I eat, what I feel with recover, and so many people are interested and have questions. And so it's been a really cool surprise to see, especially with the younger generation, how curious they are about learning more.
I love how you approach that, especially with your Instagram stories, that from an educational standpoint. I'm with you on that stereotype of you do get that, the preachy vegan vibe. And, I come from a place where I want to encourage and educate folks as well. I started my journey with my wife, and that, one of the reasons we started was because of animals. And then as we've got into it, we've realized, how much healthier it is for us, how much better it is for the planet, and obviously how much better it is for the animals. So I love seeing the movement of top level athletes that are coming to this and realizing the benefits for themselves. If you look at the Tennessee Titans, I think there are 14 or 15 players who have gone to a plant-based diet. And I appreciate that you sharing that. Think about it. You have a worldwide audience, Dustin. You're all over the place representing different groups and teams, but one of the things I really appreciate that you're representing men, and that you can still be a strong man and be a vegan. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on today. So I did a little bit of research since you are so far away. We didn't get a chance to talk before this, but I was reading that you credited going vegan to reading a book. Do you want to expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, so this was my second year, in between my second and third year going overseas. And in my second year, it was just really tough. Like, I was in a tough mentality and nothing was going right. I was really frustrated, had a lot of resentment. And so I just started swimming in anything I could find with regards to sports psychology, mental books. And so this was like the big theme for me reading wise. Anything I could that could improve my mindset, my knowledge on sports psychology, I wanted to read it. And so going into my third season in France, something happened where I just procrastinated going to the bookstore, and I went the last minute, and I had to literally just run in like a Barnes and Nobles and just grab some books. So I went to the sports section, grabbed a bunch of books. One of them was like this guy with his shirt off running, and he was like really ripped. And whenever I tell the story, everyone laughs. Like, wait, you got a book because this guy had a shirt off and he was ripped? I forget his tagline. It was like rejecting middle age and becoming the fittest man in the world. And so I was like, oh, it's like a motivational book. So yeah. Fast forward to the plane. It was a 14-hour ride. And first 4 books, I read like 5 pages. And I'm like, And I finally got to the 5th book, which was Rich Roll's Finding Ultra. And it was amazing. There was just so many parallels in our life. Both really passionate athletes in an environment where our passion really wasn't supported by the community. Like Rich, I think I have a very addictive personality. Whatever I do, I go full, which in the past has not led to so many good results. But
guilty as charged.
Like Rich, I've cleaned that stuff up. But I was just so curious and fascinated, and what I kind of took from it was like, people don't know about Rich Roll. He went vegan at age 39, and 2 years later became this amazing triathlete. I was like, man, this guy can do it at 39. I'm 25. Like, what could happen? Like, this absolutely changed this guy's life. What if, like, what I know just isn't correct, And then why not just try it? Try it for 2 months. If it doesn't work, fine. Because I was the guy that, I go to Subway, go to Chipotle, I get double meat. Because if you get more meat, then you get more protein. You get more protein, you're stronger, you're a better athlete. And at that time, too, I was kind of like wanting to be this alpha guy where it's like, I'm the strongest guy. Like, I get all the girls. Like, I'm cool. I'm, like, good at my sport. So, of course, I'm going to eat meat. So after reading this book, this kind of flipped everything. And I was like, like, I don't know why I was so lucky to have this perception of maybe I don't know it all. But for me, that was it. And I decided to go for 2 months, and it was tough going to France, a land of meat and cheese. But luckily, and what I tell people is you can't go into it with a scarcity mindset, because if you do, the first time you go to a social event or there's someone eating something that you love, it's always this scarcity, like, oh, I miss it so much, or it's not fair. But for me, it was going into this with like, this could be this amazing edge, and like, I just have to keep on going. I just have to keep on going. Like, I'm almost to 2 months. And so I never really thought of like the lack of or the scarcity. So I was lucky in this regard. And after 2 months, I still really didn't know what I was doing, but I just kept on reading more and more books. And I finally read the China study. And after that, it was done. And it's been 6 years since that.
It's incredible when you start reading the information that is available, and you start reading stories like Rich Roll going vegan at 39 and becoming this ultra athlete. That mentality that you were smart enough to read that and say, hey, if he's 39 and I'm 25, why can't I do this? How can this benefit me? I think one of the things that you said that I'm going to try this for a period of time, and see what the worst is that can happen. And then I'm assuming you started to see the differences in your body and feel the differences in your body and figured this was something that was going to work for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started to feel better. I started to feel lighter. The one thing I was nervous about was like in the weight room, like how is it going to be? Am I going to drop pounds? Am I going to underperform? And so for sure I was feeling better. But the big test was like in the weight room. And that year too, I was with these two like Americans that were insanely strong, like both 6'5", 200 plus pounds. Compared to that, I'm a little guy, and I was able to keep up with them. I don't know how. One guy used to be a college football player at UCLA, and I was able to keep up with him. So I was learning more about food, different types of food, cooking, and so everything was just like working out to my favor. I was getting stronger. I was feeling better, feeling lighter, not as bloated, learning more about food, and just overall learning. I was just crushing books, and it was just such a fun experiment, which has turned into a venture, which has turned into a lifestyle.
It's people come to this for different reasons, and when you make that connection for yourself, it is a lifestyle, and it becomes involved in every aspect of your life. And it's funny that you had that concern of what am I going to do in the weight room? Is this still going to work for me? And when you find out, wow, I'm still keeping up, I'm still doing better, and you're still a big, strong man. You're still playing a sport that you absolutely love and playing at a top level on a plant-based diet. Earlier you were talking about some of your teammates that they will start juicing and feeling better and doing things. Do you think that it has an effect when they see how well you're doing and how well you feel and what you're eating, that's one of the reasons they've come to this?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously the ego plays a big role in our life and how we interact with other people. And if I tell someone, hey, you should go vegan, it's good for you, and I, even if I cite studies, it's going to be like, hey, like, don't tell me what to do, But if I'm killing in the weight room, I'm always in the morning feeling great instead of like, just got to get through it, or another morning practice. If I always have this energy, killing it in the weight room, just a great attitude and taking pleasure in my food, then I think people, or what I've seen in the past with people, are going to be attracted to it, especially people that are not only open-minded, but want to be great. Okay, what is this guy doing? Like, I can do what he's doing and better, But if you go to someone telling them what to do, the ego is going to get in front of their true self, which is interested in growth and self-realization.
Sure. I think, we need to get more men to check that ego at the door. So I think what you're doing, leading by example, is probably one of the most powerful things you can do. No one likes to be yelled at. No one likes to be preached to. No one likes to be told what to do. But if you lead by example, as you're showing, more people are interested in what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how you're excelling. So, I think that's a fantastic message that we need to bring across the board. I think the days of this macho mentality of meat, manliness, milk, dairy is coming to an end. It's absolutely coming to an end. And there's a big documentary coming out, hopefully this year, called Game Changers. Have you seen the trailer for that yet?
Yeah, they filmed me, but I got cut.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm sorry, brother.
No, it's funny. I like telling the story. When people are like, oh, you cut it? I'm like, yeah, I've actually met the guys.
Oh, dude, I didn't know.
Yeah, James Wilkes wrote me, and I was like, what? Yeah, of course I want to be in the film. So then we're training for USA, and then maybe 6 months ago or something, because this was 2.5 years ago when they filmed, and I was like, hey man, is everything all right? Did this film come out? And he's like, oh yeah. He finally got back to me. He's like, yeah, it's coming out. He's like, but I wanted to tell you, sorry, we cut you from it. And I'm like,
oh no.
If there's better stories to tell, then tell it. I don't care. But it's always a fun story for me to tell.
I didn't realize that. I'm sorry, dude.
No.
And you're right. I'm one of those people that, if there's a more powerful message, a more, whatever the case is, maybe, unfortunately, maybe if it's a bigger name that has a larger reach, a larger impact, by all means, let's push that forward. But I wish, this is one of the things. So during this series, what I typically have done is, I'll have a call with someone before the interview, whether it be a day or two ahead of time, and just, geographically it didn't work out this time. I would have loved to have had that knowledge before. Great attitude and definitely good for a little chuckle there. But I think it is going to be an important documentary for men in particular, because they're going to see all of these world-class, top-notch athletes performing at such a level, and they approach it from not just oh, look at me, I'm a NFL football player, but they also show the science behind it with the research that shows why, not just here's what you should do, here's what this player is doing. They show the knowledge and research behind it, and they show the scientific evidence that proves what the differences are when you're on a plant-based diet versus the alternative Western diet that we're all grown up and used to.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the last myth, environmentally, people know it's destroying the world or Mother Earth, with the runoff, stuff like this. Ethically, no one would do it themselves. I mean, very few people will do it themselves, and so this is the last big myth. It's okay, for especially younger boys, it's sports is the number one priority. You want to be strong, and you want to fit in, and it's meat had such a great PR, agency that has pushed you need meat or dairy, milk does the body good. And so this is the last big myth to be uncovered. And so it's really exciting to see the evolution from just long distance runners, guys like Scott Jurek, to triathletes, Rich Roll. And now you have, I met this guy, Kendrick, what's his name? Frederick, the weightlifter, the USA weightlifter. You have guys like Griff Whalen in the NFL, Kyrie Irving's doing it, and more athletes are from major sports are doing it. And so that's been a knock too, where it's okay, yeah, you can go vegan as a runner, but what out of a power sport? And so I've gotten that a lot too, okay, but yeah, in a power sport you can't go vegan because whatever, something. And so it's really exciting to see. Like I said, they've been shooting this for such a long time, but they're going to get it right, and it's going to be so powerful. And I think I'm just so excited, not for to be haha, I told you so, but for people to really take value out of it and have their eyes open. And then from there, once they have the information, then they can make the decision. But I think more often than not, you see this documentary, you're going to be well, I've had this thought of emotionally, ethically, for the environment, for my long-term health. But the big thing was sports, and now I have a clear conscience to go the plant-based way, the more compassionate route.
Absolutely. I think that's a big point and important that you bring up, is that it's not a ha-ha, I told you so moment. It is a, you want to encourage people to do better for themselves. And I say it a lot. I say, when you know better, do better. And I grew up not knowing better. How I was raised, we grew up hunting, we grew up meat and dairy, every single meal. And probably very rare that we had a single meal as a kid, and even into, as an adult, that it did not have some type of meat or dairy on it. I was a collegiate level wrestler, and man, as soon as we got done eating, first thing we would do, we'd go straight, or done working out, we'd go straight to the chow hall before it closed, and everything we could possibly put on our plates went in our bodies. And it's amazing. I think back now, I felt like crap after we ate, because all the stuff that you're putting in your body that you're not actually digesting. And I wish I'd have known better then. So I love sharing those stories and sharing that information, so people, when they do make their decision, they see all the information. Hopefully more people will open their eyes and at least look at the information. There are so many people that want their blinders on, because like you said, the meat and dairy industries for so long have had marketing teams, massive amounts of money thrown at us. The Got Milk commercials. Everyone has seen those. They know those. And that's what they do. They fill our lives with misinformation, and people just buy into it. You're
Yeah,
changing.
there's so much misinformation that you don't know what to do, and so you just do what you've always done. And I mean, going back with meat, it wasn't always available to everyone. So by providing meat, like, parents providing meat to their children, it's a sign of kind of like wealth. We have it, we've made it. And as a kid, you do what your parents have done. Almost all of these like values and priorities you have come from your parents, and they're just trying to do what they know best. They didn't have the science, they didn't have the internet, but now it's becoming much more clear with the science, environmental impact. And like you said, digestion. Like when I was a college athlete, it was the same way. Like before lifting, I would crush like 2 spicy chicken sandwiches from Carl's Jr., And like I didn't feel good, but like that was like the normal I felt. And then when I went vegan, I was like, oh, there's like a better normal? Like, this is great. My friend's teammate, he's like, yeah, when I have this vegan protein shake, it actually like goes through me instead of just like sitting in my stomach. And he's like, I feel great. I feel so light. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's great, right?
It's funny, things are changing so much, though. You brought up Carl's Jr. Right now they have the Beyond Burger there. So you look at Del Taco out in the western part of the country in the U.S., that they now have Beyond Meat tacos available. You look at White Castle, which, I mean, as an athlete, you would never think about fueling yourself with White Castle, but they do have an Impossible Burger there. So it's not too big of a stretch, but it's so funny when, like, mainstream, huge chains across the country are providing these plant-based materials. I was just reading an article about Tyson. Tyson is working on having their own plant-based protein. And I think they see the global shift and the economic impact that's coming because, if you want to talk about an environmental standpoint, we cannot continue to grow more animals for us to eat. It's not possible. So I love seeing these companies, even though, you talk about a company like Tyson. I get where they're from. I get what they've done. I get what they're doing. But at the end of the day, they're going to do what's best for them to make money. And if that's shifting their business to a plant-based model, fantastic. I'll support it every day, all day.
Yeah. We live in a capitalist society. It's all about making money, making stockholders happy. And so that's the biggest thing we can do is we vote with our dollar. That's what we do. And, like I'm a big believer in supporting vegan restaurants, but there's going to be times too where, maybe I'm on the run and, go somewhere that has a vegan option. And again, you vote with your dollar that way. And so they start to feel it. They want more money and they start changing. And so I don't know. It's just really exciting to see how quickly things are changing. I lived in Poland last year, which about an hour outside of Warsaw. They had, I think it was 48 vegan restaurants and almost 80 vegetarian. And
are you serious?
Yeah. And in Berlin here, it's every restaurant has something on the menu that's listed vegan. I think I've been to just by itself like 12 vegan Vietnamese restaurants. Like it's unbelievable how veganized the city is. And so I think it just comes with this kind of conscious shift that is coming right now, especially in the younger people. I think a lot of people have felt lied to by whoever. People just want the truth. They're seeking out the truth. And I think with regards to nutrition, the truth is a heavily plant-based diet.
Absolutely. One of my friends who I've had on my series, Joanna, she immigrated here from Poland. And she's going back to visit family in 3 weeks that she just said. Joanna, real quick, where in Poland or how close to Warsaw? Maybe Dustin can give you a good recommendation. We'll see if that comes. We'll see if that comes up here in a second.
If you're in like towns, it's going to be tough. Like the town I was in, there was one vegan restaurant the second year I was there. But if you're in a big place like Warsaw, Krakow, Katowice, Poland's really progressive. They're really doing things right there. And so, but for me, it was like to our south or Lublin area. Yeah, Lublin. There's vegan restaurants. I've been there. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just really surprising this kind of awakening that's happening not only in the United States but around the world.
Yeah.
And even in France, which when I was there 4 years ago, couldn't find anything. And now my teammate who is mixing up more smoothies and juices follows like a vegan YouTuber from France that's like really popular. I'm like, what? A France vegan YouTuber? Like that doesn't exist. And so
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. I just feel like there's this big consciousness shift, and especially with the youth, they're going towards a plant-based diet.
Absolutely. It's definitely, I mean, obviously if you want to have a discussion about the ethical standpoint, there's no argument. There's no discussion. That's clearly the better way to go. Things are changing. You know, I've been sharing that I live in a small rural farm town outside of Dayton, Ohio. And things are changing here. Like there are multiple breweries downtown, little like microbreweries, and all of them have more and more and more vegan options showing up on their menus. There are more restaurants popping up that have, if they're not centered towards a vegan diet or a plant-based diet, they are having more and more options. So even in this little farm town where we're at, you know, we can get options that aren't too far from us. You know, I don't like supporting companies that, you know, are built off of, you know, the cruelty of, you know, animal products. But sometimes, you know, if I go to lunch with a group of guys from the office, you know, I find something to eat anywhere I go, and I make sure that, you know, when they ask, why aren't you eating something else? You know, I try not to be preachy, judgy. I just share the information, the things I've experienced in my life from a medical standpoint. It's been fantastic, and I could not imagine going back to the old Western diet. If people want to have that argument about veganism is expensive, and I've brought this up before, if you're going to McDonald's, yes, it's expensive because a Big Mac is, you know, $2 or a double cheeseburger is $1. But if you want their salad, it's $7, $8. So you're right, it can be expensive. But if you look at, you know, go buy some rice and beans. It's like the cheapest thing in the daggone grocery store. And if you compare that to the cost of, you know, long-term health care, when you have these chronic diseases, diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, you know, hands down, eating a vegan diet is much less expensive. So, man, Dustin, I tell you what, I know you're very busy. I really appreciate you carving out some time. I appreciate Elizabeth Alfano kind of getting us together so we could have this conversation. And I hope more men and more boys will start waking up at a huge rate when they start seeing things like yourself thriving at a top level on a plant-based diet, and they start making informed decisions, and they start making decisions for themselves that are better for themselves, better for the planet, and better for the animals.
Absolutely. It's happening right now. It's really exciting to see.
It really is. And, you know, my wife and I are fairly new to this, and I've just been excited to be a part of this and to be able to reach out to people. And I really appreciate you being a part of this today. And I hope that people will watch this back. I'll get it up and posted. And I hope people will watch us and listen to what you're saying for themselves and start looking into things like, you know, maybe someone picks up Rich Roll's book and makes the same choices you did for their own reasons. So really appreciate it, Dustin. And how long are you going to be, when's the next time you're going to be back in the States? Where's home for you?
Home is Long Beach, California, and luckily where we train is Anaheim, which is,
okay,
depending on traffic, say like a 25-minute drive. So I'm really lucky. But we'll actually be out in the Midwest this year. I forget the exact date, but we'll be in Chicago for a couple matches. So
okay. We've got some friends just outside of Chicago. My friend Marnie, she's going to be on tomorrow. They live outside of Chicago, and then, you know, Elizabeth Alfano has a lot of connections up there, and her mom lives there. So we've been wanting to go to the Chicago Diner. We hear they have some fantastic vegan shakes. So
yep.
maybe
I went. It's great.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on your schedule and keep in touch. Let me know when that's going to happen, and maybe it'd be great to get together and actually meet in person and chow on some delicious vegan food.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to speak with you. And if there's any other time you want to talk shop, I'm happy.
I appreciate that, and like I said, I really appreciate your time coming on today. And you know, it is exciting times watching these changes, and I love that you're leading by example for, athletes everywhere. So thank you very much, Dustin, and good luck to you guys.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate the kind words.
Be good.